This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Since 1966, your source for state and national agribusiness news, and features for farmers and consumers about Georgia's #1 industry, agriculture. The Georgia Farm Monitor is produced by the state's largest general farm organization, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now, here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Burgamy.
Well, as you can see, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas here in the studio and probably around your home as well. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in to another edition of the Georgia Farm Monitor. I'm Ray DeLessio.
And I'm Kenny Burgamy. Our gift to you today, the gift of Georgia agriculture. Coming up on the program, the Monitor talks to one Georgia farmer about the drought of 2016 and the devastating effects it's had on his soybean crop.
Also on the program, a conversation with the reigning GFB Young Farmer Discussion Meet champion, Sky Guess. Her passion for agriculture and how this competition changed her life for the better.
And then later, Union County officially opens its state-of-the-art agri-science building. See why it's beneficial not only to the agricultural industry, but the community as a whole. All this and more starting right now on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
As you know, farmers in North Georgia and in other parts of the state are suffering through an extreme drought right now. Many crops that were not irrigated produced extremely low yields. That's if the farmer was even able to harvest them at all. Well, recently, the Monitor's Mark Wildman traveled to Murray County to get a look at the North Georgia crops that have been impacted there.
Jimmy Petty has been farming this land on the north side of Murray County, just a few miles from the Tennessee border, for many decades. Over the years, he, like all other farmers, have had to battle the weather. But the weather conditions he has faced this year has devastated this field of soybeans.
Oh, it's been the worst drought that I've ever seen in anyone else, I think. We've not had over an inch of rain, I don't guess, since May. And it's the worst year we've ever saw.
From this field, you can see the smoke from wildfires that are burning the dry North Georgia mountains. And as Jimmy looks over the crop, he can only wait until next year.
They should be, on a normal year, they should be making 50 to 60 bushel or better. And this year they're making about 5. And there's not worth running the machine over to get them.
When a farm has a bad season, it has to make changes to its farming operation.
Oh, it's going to hurt, no question. We have to watch about what we buy, and there'll be no equipment bought this time. But we've had a couple of good years, and I think we'll make it be okay for another year to try it again.
Even though this farm is very dusty today, and this field of soybeans was a loss, Jimmy and many other producers are eager to get through the winter and start planting all over again.
We've already talking about buying, in fact, we've already bought some seed for next year and a few chemicals, and we get excited come first of the year and get ready to watch the dirt roll and put the seed in the ground, watch them grow.
Along with the soybean crop, the drought took its toll on corn and is forcing cattle producers to make drastic changes so the cattle can stay fed.
The early corn done fire. But the later corn, it was no good at all. Some of it run as little as 3 bushels, and we didn't even pick it. But we averaged probably 190 to 100 bushel over 800 acres. Usually we have hay for sale, and this year we're having to buy hay and haul hay in and haul water to the pastures, and all of our ponds are dried up and our wet weather springs is dried up, and it's just been all the way around a real bad year for the farmers in this area.
Farmers are very optimistic people and know every time a crop is planted, there are many chances for things to go wrong. But the hope here and every other farm is that they never see another drought like this one again.
You can't help but wonder, why, and hope for a better year. We know the ground is capable of producing 70 and 80 bushels of beans, but this year it just didn't do it, and it's out of our hands. It's out of our hands. So we'll just take what we got and hope for a better one next year.
Reporting from Murray County, I'm Mark Wildman for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Well, thank you, Mark. Even though most producers have long finished with their harvest season, it's never too late to remind motorists and farmers to practice caution when it comes to sharing Georgia roadways.
The Governor's Office of Highway Safety reminds us each year that the numbers of fatal accidents that involve farm vehicles is on the increase. However, this year the number of fatalities has more than tripled over 2015.
We have been doing this for 6 years, and at the same time, distracted driving continues to be a problem everywhere, and now it's really showing itself in this area because we know that people aren't paying attention. And tractors going 20, cars going 60, big tractor, the physics is going to tell you it's not going to be a pretty situation.
More than 10 people have been killed this year and more than 150 people injured in farm and construction crashes on Georgia's highways. One Decatur County farmer told me producers and drivers should always remember working around farming equipment could be dangerous.
I was involved in a tractor accident roughly 20 years ago on a major highway, a 4-lane highway, and I was on an open tractor, not a cab tractor, and I was pulling a sprayer, and a guy hit me with a load of lumber, a truck load of lumber from Atlanta, and totaled the tractor, totaled the sprayer. But fortunately for me, I was blessed. I had my seatbelt on that day, or I was knocked out for a few minutes till I came to. It definitely, the impact would have thrown me off the tractor and more than likely run over, or the impact would have killed me. But as it was, just a few scratches and I walked away.
What we're asking them to do is to make sure that they pay attention, do the safety things, but we're asking the motoring public to join us in that they've got to pay attention too. Put down those phones, put away your distractions, pay attention. And we're going to try to get more and more signage up saying this is a road where agricultural vehicles travel. It may be a peanut wagon, it may be a combine, it may be a tractor, whatever it might be. We want them to be able to get from farm to farm safely and from farm to market safely.
Bell said he wants to remind motorists to use caution around combines, tractors, and other farm-related vehicles when they see them on the road. And for farmers, they should utilize local law enforcement if needed.
Most of these sheriff departments, police departments will escort you whenever you need it. In our county, all you've got to do is call. They've never told us no. They might have said, wait a few minutes and let us get there. But we have to cross a lot of bridges. We have to get across the river and use your local law enforcement. They're out to help you as well.
Time for a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk Farm Bill 2018 and what American Farm Bureau is already doing to help generate ideas.
Also, the ability to analyze the issues and decide on what solutions best meet their needs. That's the basic foundation of being a discussion meet champion. Traits that Sky Guess has and hopes to capitalize on at the national competition next month in Phoenix. Her story when the Georgia Farm Monitor continues.
I'm Garrett Gaines with the Georgia Farm Bureau Pecan Commodity. I'm the chairman of that committee. You're here on Gaines Pecan Farm as we're working our way through the 2016 fall pecan harvest. We are a grower, accumulator, and cleaner of Georgia pecans. We grow about 250 acres. We have a small buying station where we purchase pecans from the public, as well as a small retail operation. We also do some custom work for other farmers. As where we are right now, we are shaking trees for a local farmer that we do some custom work for. So I grew up on a small cattle and pecan farm, and I would say that as a small boy I just took a liking to it, and it was what I wanted to do as a career since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. And went to college at Mississippi State. When I got out of college, I decided I wanted to come back and farm. Had a small opportunity to begin growing pecans, and took it and ran with it. That was 12 years ago, and since then things have multiplied, and God has been good to our production and my family. I love the challenge. It is nothing the same every day. You are continually engaging not only the public but employees as well as nature itself. Farm Bureau is a great leadership building organization. It is not just about going to Macon or to your local county Farm Bureau office. It's about also being engaged with your soil and water boards, your county commissions, your city commissions, whatever kind of government entity that involves citizens, which is basically everyone. It's opportunities to be a leader in your community, and while you have that platform, to be able to speak strongly about agriculture. If you leave it to somebody else, they're not going to make the choices that we need to promote American agriculture, specifically Georgia agriculture.
Well, every year in Georgia, Farm Bureau holds its Young Farmer Discussion Meet to involve young farmers in analyzing their agricultural problems and deciding on what solutions best meet their needs. This year's competition was back in July during the GFB Young Farmer Leadership Conference. Sky Guess from Hancock County emerged from a field of 26 competitors to win the event and now heads to Phoenix next month to compete in the national competition. Here now, Sky Guess, in her own words, on what the discussion meet and agriculture means to her.
I think farm life is some of the greatest joy you can have. There is nothing like coming home to this beautiful place. I enjoy every minute of it. Being with the cows and being able to work with Josh and being outside, there's so much joy and pleasure that you have from it. I did not grow up around agriculture. Josh, my husband, likes to joke. I grew up in a subdivision and didn't have any experience with cows and farming. In fact, my mom, when we first met, said, "You know his job is outside and you don't like the outside." But I met Josh back in 2008 and fell in love with farming. And we moved to Hancock County about 2.5 years ago, and I spend a good amount of time helping him with the cows, and when he needs someone to rake hay, I'm right there by his side to do that. So I guess about the last 8.5 years is the extent of my ag background. I think the discussion meet is a great tool that we can use as young farmers. It's a great leadership building exercise, and it has given me personally the ability to talk to anybody about agriculture. Since I don't come from that as my background, I've learned so much through researching questions, and now I have the confidence to go up to my state representatives and the congressmen in Washington, D.C. and talk to them about the issues that are facing us here in Georgia and across the nation, and I can really convey important points to them. So I think the discussion meet has really brought that out in me, and I think it gives a great tool to everybody. I think what I've learned in the last couple years of competing is you have to be true to yourself. You have to do the research, you have to put the time and the preparation in, and at the end of the day, you have to remember that the purpose of this is to have a great discussion, to learn something from the other competitors, and really just to enjoy the moment. Right now, I think my favorite thing to talk about is immigration. Immigration is a hot button issue. It's something that we really have to be concerned about and extremely proactive. You have differing opinions from, should we focus on securing our borders, to what about the workers we need to grow our food? One thing that I've done is I had the opportunity to talk to the Pittmans down further in South Georgia and talking about the Vidalia onions and their operation and what they need as far as producing that Vidalia onion, which is iconic to Georgia, and learning about how they have to figure out how to deal with the H-2A program and the difficulties it causes for farmers. So I think that is an issue right now that we have to absolutely be proactive with. Well, the goal, I guess, is to win it all. That would absolutely be a dream come true. I think it would be absolutely incredible. But I certainly hope Georgia has done a great job of putting competitors from our state in the Sweet 16 consistently for the last couple years. So I hope to carry that on, and I hope to advance all the way to the Final Four.
Very, very bright young lady. And just a reminder, if you missed any part of the story or others on today's program, you can still see them in their entirety at our YouTube channel. That is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Once there, you can browse the archives of stories dating as far back as 2009.
And once you're done watching all those informative stories, keep clicking and like the Georgia Farm Monitor Facebook page we set up for you. If you have a story idea or if you just want to leave us a comment or suggestion, feel free to send us a message either on Facebook or the address there on the screen. That is news@farm-monitor.com. Health and nutrition, research, jobs, infrastructure, conservation, they all make up what is commonly referred to as the Farm Bill. And even though the current one doesn't expire for another 2 years, talks regarding a new bill are already underway. Michael Clements has more.
Farmers and ranchers are pushing for an early start to Farm Bill negotiations, and AFBF Chief Economist Bob Young says they've already started discussions at the grassroots level.
We've got the Farm Bill Working Group. We've got a number of state staff that we brought in and had lengthy discussions. You know, all the whole issues around a Farm Bill, not just Title I or what we're going to do on cotton or whatever, but lengthy discussions about rural America, about what it takes to live there, and you know, just all the titles of a Farm Bill.
Young says it's important to get the Farm Bill talks going as quickly as possible.
I think we'll have some folks that are going to try to make a push even in 2017 to talk about some provisions in farm legislation. And so I think it's just important for us to make sure that the groundwork's laid and that our membership has informed us as much of what their issues and concerns and desires are, so that we've got all that information in hand as we roll forward.
Young says sustainable agriculture up and down the food chain will be an important part of Farm Bill discussions.
We need to make sure we're understanding what their desires are. They need to understand what our abilities are. We're very involved in a program called Field to Market, for example, that basically does bring the entire food chain into the system, all the way from the retailers down to the input suppliers and the farmers and grain handlers in between. Field to Market views sustainability as a journey and not a destination, that it's one of continuous improvement, and I think that's what farmers have been doing for decades and decades.
Young says farmers have done a good job of making their farming practices environmentally sustainable, but another important type of sustainability will be economic stability, and the Farm Bill plays a key role there. Michael Clements, Washington.
All right, thank you, Michael. Well, this time of year, we indulge in a lot of tasty foods, but some of those Christmas treats aren't exactly the healthiest things to eat. When we come back, we'll show you a 4-H program that includes instruction for kids and their parents about alternatives that are just as sweet. Stay tuned.
Holiday sweets minus the sugar and calories. Madeline Rudder, a 17-year-old 4-H'er in Chester County, is leading a cooking class. But here it's more about slicing and stirring as opposed to baking. These 4-H'ers are mixing together an apple cranberry fruit salad, something different compared to your typical holiday foods.
A lot of times you're going to eat a lot of junk food, a lot of turkey, a lot of ham, a lot of macaroni and cheese, a lot of starchy stuff. But this is fruit. This is good for you. And if you can find a way to make kids want to eat the fruit during the holidays, it's really good.
Everyone in the class today, kids and adults, are part of 4-H Food Smart families. Smart being the key word. Even at a young age, children know what's good for you.
Well, you get to make it yourself so you know what's in it, and it's fun to cook.
It's to teach healthy living, but also bring children and parents together in a great meeting place, the kitchen. Parents like the practical skills their kids learn here.
Children need to know, they need to grow up understanding how to fix healthy meals and be in the kitchen and understand how to use the different utensils.
There are 3 F's here. Food, obviously, is the first one. The other 2 are fun and fitness. UT Extension leaders encourage healthy eating and exercise for the whole family. And the holidays are a time when we might slack off on being active.
Have an apple instead of cookies today for a healthy snack, or maybe play outside for 15 extra minutes instead of watching a movie for 15 extra minutes.
Rebecca Surratt with UT Extension in Chester County says in this 6-week curriculum, kids and adults also mix parfaits, sample flavored water, and learn about agriculture and where our food comes from.
That is the idea behind Food Smart Families, is just bringing specifically youth. We want them to be more knowledgeable about their health, take matters into their own hands. But when they go home at the end of the day, they can share what they've learned with mom, dad, little brother, little sister, that kind of thing.
When the lesson comes to a close, it's time to consume what we've created. This program teaches the Christmas season can taste sweet and still be good for us. And you can toss in a little family togetherness too. This is Charles Denny reporting.
Discounts, discounts, and yes, more discounts. One of the many perks of being a Georgia Farm Bureau member. Best of all, annual membership dues, currently $25, and membership is open to everyone. You don't need to be a farmer or have insurance with us to join Farm Bureau. For more information and other benefits on becoming a member, just log on to gfb.org and head on over to the membership section. Well, finally today, tucked away in the mountains of North Georgia, you will find one of the newest and up-to-date agri-science buildings in the entire state.
David Jones traveled to Union County and gives you a look at the new facility that will not only benefit the ag industry, but also the community as a whole.
After years of planning and building, the Union County Schools Agri-Science Center is now officially a reality, as leaders from both the agricultural community and school system gather to christen the new building. Between its ample space and state-of-the-art technology, the variety of events this facility can host are limitless.
In the initial stages, the Board of Education and the community, in conjunction with the agriculture teachers in the system, saw a real need to update the existing facilities. But what they wanted to do was they had a vision to make it much bigger than just a facility for kids to show animals, and that kind of evolved into this complex, and then the procurement of the additional 30 acres for an agri-science research farm.
We can do a lot of different things. We can have different meetings here. My favorite thing is we can have meetings for people that are 100 to 150 type of meetings, and we can not only have livestock shows here, we can have anything under the moon. This is a very multi-use facility. We can do anything from livestock shows to community events and have different type of meetings here as well.
But the main purpose for this facility is very clear. In fact, it's in the name itself. Between all the holding stalls, animal barns, and even wind tunnel, ag teachers and the Union County students interested in pursuing agriculture will have everything they need to succeed right in their backyard.
First and foremost, it provides the teachers with an opportunity to take their classroom instruction and turn it into hands-on learning experience out here. You got a really nice laboratory setting in the back where they can do some live animal demonstrations, some places up on the hill for kids to keep their animals here when they don't have a place at their permanent residence. And so it turns into a learning laboratory for them to bring their classroom instruction out here.
In the back part of our facility, we will be able to house student livestock projects, and we can house pigs in this facility, and we have a place to be able to house cattle projects and other small ruminants and things on the upper side of this facility.
It's a much-needed addition to a community that has a rich history in agriculture as they look to continue that tradition into the foreseeable future.
Agriculture in this community has been an integral part of the community for a long time. It's a very small rural county, and I think you can say it's very agricultural at its base.
Agriculture here is still thriving. We still have a lot of farmers in the community, and been dying for a facility like this. To be able to see what the ag education has moved from 5 years ago versus what the ag program has done now has been tremendous.
Reporting from Blairsville, I'm Damon Jones for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Damon, thank you so much. That is going to do it for this week's edition of the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Now, just a reminder, for all the latest ag info regarding food, great recipes, and what's happening down on the farm, be sure and check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest pages. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of farming and the Farm Monitor Show.
Take care, everybody. We will see you next week right here on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
As always, have a great week.